So, Alice, are you a Christian?
No, I'm not. I'm agnostic.
And what does that mean to be agnostic?
It means that you don't know what's out there. So you're not an atheist knows that there's no God. An agnostic person doesn't know if there is a God or there's not a God or there's some kind of higher power or there's not some kind of higher power.
And have you always been that way?
No, when I had a Christian nanny when I was growing up in Russia, and I was like Christian, I think for like the first part of my life. I think up until I was like 13 or 14, I used to read the Bible and pray and all that stuff. So I used to be Christian when I was younger, much younger.
I noticed that a lot of people, once they read the Bible, they turn away from God. It doesn't really help them. What made you decide to become, after reading the Bible or whatever, what made you decide to become an agnostic?
I started to question some of the assumptions I had. Like the reason I was Christian from a young age is just because I had a Christian nanny. That was like a pure coincidence. And I kind of just like believed like what she took as like, as law. But then like as I got older, started to question some things. I mean, I don't know. I used to have like a lot of shame around masturbation. And like every time I would masturbate, I would sit there and I would pray and I'd be like, please forgive me, God. And then I realized that God probably has, if he does exist, he has better things to worry about than me jerking off.
That's for
so
sure.
I don't know. I think it was like something along the lines of that. I think I got older and I started questioning things more.
And so the last thing about this, I think, what is it like living without not believing that there is no God, but what is it like living without being sure that there is a God?
I would say it's no different really substantially than living if you are religious. I mean, you're still, you're living your life, you have friendships, relationships. I think there's this idea that people who don't have religion don't have like ethics, which is not true. You can be very ethical and not be religious, right? Those two things are not really related. So I don't know. I think it's no different than living for you. Honestly, it's like you're hanging out with your family and friends. You're working. You're doing your hobbies. You're pursuing your passions. Everything is the same, basically, more or less.
So you never even mention God's name when you're like lonely or feeling the emptiness. You don't even mention God in those moments.
I think like one time, like 5-6 years ago, I had a close brush with death. So I thought I was going to die. And when I had that, I think I did. I was like in that moment, I was like, God, please don't let me die. But like that was like the one time. Yeah.
What made you do it then when you don't believe, you don't know for sure? What made you call out to him at that moment?
Well, because like, let's just say there's a 10% chance he exists. It still doesn't hurt me to take a chance. I don't know, man. It was like an act of desperation because I thought I was going to die. And I was like, oh, like, I really hope I don't die. You go into fight or flight. So you're like, really like, oh, please, like, don't let me die. I think I was praying to God, to the universe, to Muhammad, to anyone who would listen.
And so now that he has saved you from dying in that moment, you still don't believe?
Well, I don't know if he saved me from dying. I think it was like I just was too worried. I think I was having a panic attack. It was when it's kind of a long story, but I thought that I got too much oxygen, too much CO2 in my blood or whatever, which can happen. It's a long story. But anyway, right. So I had to go to the hospital. So I think it was just like I was incorrect about what I thought I had rather than like someone saved me.
Oh, I see. You didn't leave your body or anything?
No. It wasn't like that close. No.
Oh, okay. How did you become a sex and dating coach? What made you decide to get into that?
I struggled a lot when I was younger to meet girls. It was a really big struggle for me. So I don't know. I felt like there's a complete lack of good information out there for young men about how to go about meeting women. And so I want to be part of the solution to that problem.
Give me an example of the struggle when you were younger meeting girls. What was the struggle? Can you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, I would go out my freshman year of college. I would go out to party after party, and I would try to talk to girls, and I would just always fail over and over again. And I would have to like heavily rely on alcohol because I was really nervous talking to like a cute girl. So I would have to drink a lot, and then when you drink a lot, you get like a little sloppy. So it just became this like bad cycle because I couldn't really talk to girls unless I was drinking. But if I was drinking too much, then I couldn't really talk to girls well. I just spent my whole freshman year going out to party after party trying to meet girls because I thought that that where would you meet a girl? You meet her at a party, right? Where else would you meet her? So that's like one example. I mean, there's many. I had many situations where there was a girl who I was interested in, but I was too afraid to like express my interest, or I didn't really do anything. And then the girl lost interest, and then she got a different boyfriend. So
What caused you to become that way? When I was 15, I started dating at 15, my first girlfriend, and I don't ever remember being afraid to talk to girls or to meet a girl. Or I know that I had a little nervousness there, but it wasn't great. I noticed it more when I turned 18 or so. But what caused you to be afraid of meeting girls?
do you have sisters?
I do. I have 7 sisters.
Okay. Well, that's probably a big part of it. Usually guys who are not like nervous around girls, who are naturally like more confident, they have some sisters, and that kind of gives them that. I'm an only child. I never had any sisters. We were immigrants to America. I moved here when I was 7. We moved around a lot when I was a kid, so I was always the outsider. So I think that was a big part of the reason why I kind of felt like socially isolated.
Amazing. And so are you afraid of girls now?
No, I'm not afraid of girls.
Are you able to be honest? I notice that most guys, especially millennial guys, are afraid to tell a woman the truth about herself. If she's like a bitch, they're afraid to say, you're a real bitch. Are you afraid to do that?
No, not at all. I do it all the time on my show. I mean, I have many. I don't know how familiar you are with my podcast, but I've had many situations where a girl is just like acting like a bitch, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" So yeah, no, I'm not afraid at all. I don't care.